You say act soft, talk tough. What does that sound like when we get that statement tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I think that's what the Fed's done for years, is act soft and talk tough. So they won't move rates, but they'll say they have a bias to hike. And I think they'll show through the so-called dots that they'll probably hike 3 times this year. So the message is, we're not going in March because of uncertainty, but we're highly inclined, if the markets and the data allow us, to go in June. I don't think the data will allow them to go in June.
How much of the language would you expect refers explicitly to any firming of inflation or strength in unemployment, that kind of thing?
Well, I think, the employment data is the one sector of the economy that you can say is pretty good. Up until today, the retail sales, they probably would have said the consumer's good as well. But the bit of the retail sales data that feeds into GDP, basically it's been flat for the last 3 months. And so it's really only the employment data that are telling us that the economy is okay. And I think that will be the first thing they mention in the statement, that employment's good. And I think for many on the FOMC, that's the key bellwether to where we're going. And so I think their line is, probably the markets had a bit of a tizzy in January, wasn't justified by the US economy. And we've kind of had a bit of a pause, but basically we're on track for continued normalization.
Do you have any theories as to why retail sales is coming in the way it is and what's happening to whatever incremental savings people are getting from gasoline?
Well, I think when you get gasoline prices so low, when you're headed below 30 bucks, probably everybody believes it can't last. And so it's a temporary gift, and you don't alter your spending patterns due to temporary factors. And I think that's one of the things. I think there are some worrying signs. So the non-manufacturing ISM, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, and what we saw for hours and earnings in the payrolls report, and now the retail sales. So I think this is raising the question, did the market turmoil have more impact on sentiment and therefore activity than we at first thought? And I think in light of that, the Fed's very wise to say, let's take some more time and assess what's going on.